It's almost 11 o'clock, Wednesday the 15th of September. Yesterday was the California recall election, and there's no vote in this country's history that's ever been rigged, staged, or faked. They definitely didn't catch a felon with hundreds of ballots in his car. They definitely didn't have people turning up to the polls going, "What do you mean I already voted? I'm here to vote now." You know, of course, people in California wanted to keep that governor, especially if you paid attention to all the hoops that we had to go through to get our signatures accepted on the recall thing. Yeah. Anyway, today talk about automobile repair, minimal tools, a little bit of politics and why they don't really matter anymore, and maybe just some general philosophy. I don't know. Let's get to it. All right, so when I got here, I realized I had a lot of work to do, and I don't have any tools. That's not cool. So I bought this basic set of tools and show this to you. I don't know if I showed this to you before. Just a really basic set, and it's kind of more of a homeowner's thing than an automotive. But you got your wrenches, you got your most commonly used sockets. This is the one we will be using the most today, the 8mm, if I'm not mistaken. And it's got, with the screwdrivers, it's got all the little tips that change out in this. So you can run this as a screwdriver, the little Torx, all the way up to a T40. Pretty good. Will fit in that. Not bad, not bad. You've got your basic Allens, you've got Allen wrenches there, and you can turn it into a nut driver, which we'll be doing today. What's happened is I think in my situation, I'm going to have to go back to Bakersfield here in the next few weeks and probably spend a couple of weeks, at least a week, getting everything and everybody back here. I don't think it's very responsible to go get a full-time job somewhere, get trained up, get where they rely on you being there and then just disappear. I think that's rude. That's not cool. So I've done something I didn't think I'd ever do. I've gone and signed up to do Uber, and a Prius is like the perfect Uber car. Most of the Uber drivers I've ever talked to, they were driving a Prius. So for fuel economy, all that stuff, it's a good choice, and it's one I've got. So, right. The problem I'm having right now though is the air conditioner fan will blow, and then it'll kind of like lag down and not work, and then it'll blow, and then it'll lag down and not work. So there's two things that you got to do whenever you change the blower motor out in an air conditioner in a car. The first thing you got to do is change the blower motor and the blower, right? Because you can hear it on this one. The bearings in the motor are blown out, so that causes undue drag. There is a control unit that regulates the speed. When you turn the fan up and down on the dash, it tells the thing how much power to put to the motor. The thing is you don't want to change one out without changing the other. Fortunately, between, I believe it's 2010 and 2015 on these cars, or 2009 and 2015, you want to check that before you go do this to make sure. On this unit, that ECU is built in to the motor. So this Blower motor is an electronic device and requires a specific procedure for installation. Not a problem. So, we'll cut that off. Let's see. Do not bench test the blower motor. Yeah, no. This thing will jump right off the bench, and if you knock this out of balance, it won't work right. So you don't want to, definitely don't want to bench test it. Let's see, check to make sure all electrical connectors and wires are in good condition. You want to check the actual metal, make sure there's no corrosion or anything going on there. They're not bent, that kind of thing. With the vehicle power off, disconnect the negative ground cable from the battery. Note this step may result in the loss of some driver preference information, such as radio stations, clock, seat adjustment, etc. I'm not going to do that. The car's off. No, that's good enough. The installer needs to reset the central ECU on the vehicle in order to erase any previous failure codes. I don't have failure codes. The motor in this one has not failed yet. It's simply got too much drag and it's giving any problems. So I believe I have in this vehicle the deal where I can check the codes with the oh, it Bluetooth connects to my tablet, so I will check that. But I don't have error codes. There's no check engine light. There's no lights coming on the dashboard. There's no error codes on this. So let's see. Only a qualified installer with the appropriate tools could and should complete this procedure. Okay. Failure to follow all steps and procedures mentioned above may result in damage to the blower motor and void all warranties. Very good. You cannot, you do not, you should not, do not turn the car off. If you do want to disconnect the battery, they're in here, underneath this in this car. So, all right, I'm going to go up front and take this and this, and let's go see if what my research has showed me is accurate and correct. All right, so these little things are just basic tabs. I'm going to pull that, push, pull, and push, pull. Oh, right there. Yeah, push and pull. Come on, man. There we go. And then down there, that little floor light can just come out of there. Let's see. Down there, it's just pinned like that. How are we going to do this? You know what? I'm just going to unplug the dumb thing. There we go. So I just unplugged that light. I'm going to flop that kind of out of the way. Now, the guy I watched bent this metal tab just to move it, and I think I'm seeing why he did that. Yeah, he bent this, just bent it, and I think I'm gonna have to do the same. That is not really what I was wanting to do. These mirrors are really handy when you can't fit somewhere for getting in and looking at what is actually going on here. Let's see. That thing. It looks like it's just slipped on there, but I'm not seeing how you can unslip it on there. It might be molded in as part of the thing. Well, alright, so be it. I'm going to put my thumbs on the actual metal part and go ahead and bend it gingerly down. Alright. I ought to be able to get at that now. These are all 8mm from what he said. Let's check that. Yeah, they sure are. All right, before we start taking that off, what we do want to do, we're going to push this little tab in right here, and that should just wiggle down. Come on, baby. There we go. All right, with that unplugged, that cannot come on. And so long as we don't plug that back in until the other one is properly mounted, the new one can't come on either. So that is the thing. That is the thing. So I promised politics. I promised politics. Let's do that. Because that one's easy to get at, what I'm gonna do is get it down there and then leave it for a second. I do believe that I am not gonna be able to do this with this tool. So what I've done is I've grabbed the 8mm socket on the actual ratcheting wrench, and you know what, that looks like that's not going to fit in there either. I can't see a way to get that other thing down. It looks like I'm going to have to bend it more. Oh boy, I'm kind of worried about breaking it, to be honest. So yeah, California had their recall. Whatever, you know. I kind of had a feeling that was how that was going to go. I got my Kansas driver's license a week and a half ago, and the day before the California recall, my actual plastic license came in the mail. So that was yesterday. Hang on, one more tool, guys. All right, I'm back. Sorry for the extra noise, but I got the fan going. This was left on the electrical panel out back. I think you saw in that video. I'm like, oh boy, they left me tools. I do have tools. So what I'm going to do is this number. All I need to do is break that, and then I can do it by hand the rest of the way. Is what I'm thinking anyway. So yeah, I had no intention of voting in the recall. It wouldn't have helped. They were going to do whatever they were going to do. They've been caught rigging elections in California before. It's just a known thing. If you don't know about that, you know, I'm sorry you're uneducated. Don't call me a conspiracy theorist, because I read and I learn and I know. Anyway, oh, come on, man. Why are you gonna fight with me? Anyway, on that note, I will say, son of a gun. Come on, Toyota. I do not believe that politics in the United States matters anymore. I really don't. Good grief. I need the light. I really don't. You have a guy running for president, stands on stage on national television and says, we got the best vote riggers that you can get, and they're rigging the vote for us, just like they did when I was vice president, you know. And you can tell me I'm a lunatic all you want, but he stood there and said it. You know, what am I supposed to not believe him? So either he rigged the vote, or he's a complete total fucking moron. Pardon my French, but those are kind of your choices on that. And if you're falling on the choice that he's a moron, why would you vote for that? You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. Been watching that guy in the political sphere for 20 plus years. Well aware of who Joe Biden was before, you know, he ever was vice president. The guy's definitely a moron, but I think he's a little bit more than that kind of broken now. Okay, back here, it might also be hard to get that long screwdriver in. Yeah, the angle's not going to be supported. So, but the thing is they, whether you believe they're forfeiting forging votes or not, which I think it's kind of obvious when they're making all the observers leave. It's kind of obvious something's going on. But if you don't want to believe that even, you have 3 states change their voting laws in a way that does not click with state law. There. You had people protesting. You had lawsuits besides Trump's complaining about it. And there is no way that election should have been certified. And as much as I want to say Mike Pence is a piece of shit for certifying that election, I don't know what they threatened him with, and I don't know that I would have stood against it. Whatever it is, it couldn't have been good. So I'm not going to sit here and judge the man because I don't know what was said or done to him. But I do believe there was probably some coercion involved, because I don't really want to believe that Mike Pence was a piece of shit that whole time. You know what I mean? All right, that tap is still in my way. Oh, man. So, anyways, that's just kind of my take on the politics of it. I don't think politics matters in the United States anymore, and I don't think anybody is ever going to stand up to do anything about it. We're all too scared, and that's sad, but it is what it is. Let's get back up on the tripod, and I'll make a point here about mechanical stuffs. Okay, so on this mechanical stuff, I'm sorry I'm out of breath. That is a really weird position to contort myself into to be able to get at this. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this real quick. This one compared to this one. This is supposed to be OEM. Blower motor, later, it's supposed to be an original equipment part. New premium blower motor, 100% factory tested, OE specified. This is supposed to be the same as this. That being said, I don't trust anybody ever. And what I'm doing is, from the screw holes, the mounting surfaces where the screw heads go, to the face of the fan, I'm looking, and they are the same, no problem. The cone in this one is shaped a little differently, but that overall height or depth as you insert it into the housing is going to be the same. From this surface to here is the same, it looks like. These look to be the same and in the same place. The screw holes line up pretty darn good. Again, it says on the thing, inspect the electrical connections, and I'm doing that right now. They are the same and they're in good condition. Okay. The diameter of the thing's the same. They're the same voltage. Everything looks good. So all I'm doing is verifying, guys, that the part that they gave me at the part shop is the right part. If this won't fit, you know, you're usually going to see that comparing one to the other. You're going to see that right now before you get in there and contort, and, right? That's the idea. Free spinning. So usually what happens when these fail, the bearings start going out, they wear in, especially this thing's setting straight up and down, which is good. I prefer that to setting sideways. You should get longer life out of the bearing that way. But if the bearing is starting to fail, you see how that does. Well, that's touching something over there. You see how that spins? how that spins. It's doing all right. Anyway, it does make a kind of a clicky noise, so I think the bearing's starting to fail on it. Usually you'll get dragging that way, or the fan will get plugged up with crap, which this one's not. The other thing that can happen is the voltage regulator that adjusts the speeds of this blade turning will start going out, and that might be what's happening with this one. I don't know. If they were two separate components, I would change both of them. Definitely don't, because the thing is, if you do have a bearing going out, that fan has been riding rough, overdrawing on that voltage regulator the whole time. That voltage regulator is probably starting to go out. Or if the voltage regulator is running rough shot on the motor because it's giving it irregular readings or irregular power supply, then you change the voltage regulator. Well, the fan's already having problems because you've put undue wear and tear on its stress. So, you definitely want to change them both. With this unit, you're getting both in there, so that's a good thing, I think. Let's go back under the dash. We'll put this back in. I got one more thing I want to talk about. The light is provided by my headband, and I just have it set in here. A little more stability. All right. So before I just stick that in there, I am going to give this a look. Everything's free and clear. I'm not jamming anything up in there weird. And before I lift that, I've got my first screw. I'm going to get it ready. And I'm going to very gently caress this back in past that bent bracket. Oh man. Before I do that, this is right in my intermediate field of view where I kind of need my glasses, and that kind of won't work either. So, all right. Way to go on that tab, Toyota. You guys really Japan's nerded it there. Really good. Alright. And now I'm seeing that. Okay. Pull that out of the way again. Down it don't. What I need to do is get this tab in front of there, huh? And then do that whole number again. There we go. Ah, beautiful. Make sure that this lines up with that. There we go. And I got this screw up here where I can get at it real easy. Get this lined up as best I can. Whew. Man, that is difficult. I've got my elbows resting on the floorboard, and that does help a bit. Okay. So, while I'm doing this, the other topic I wanted to bring up is vaccinations. I've got a buddy in the hospital right now. Man, I hope he gets better. Good dude. And, well, I like him anyway. He's in the hospital with the COVID, and we've sat around and talked about the vaccines and all that stuff. And he said, "I'll never make light of this again," and I think that's good. I'm not big on anecdotal evidence, and my friend having the thing is anecdotal. That is a story unique to, well, not unique to me in the fact that it can't happen to anybody else, but it's one of those things that it doesn't provide any statistical knowledge. You know what I mean? the statistics are still the same across the board. Israel is almost completely vaccinated. I've been watching videos on the information rolling out of there. They're still getting the same number of cases. What do they call it? Where it blows through the vaccine and you get it anyway. They're still getting the same number of cases as anywhere else. You know, I think it's Sweden. They don't have any mask mandate. They don't have any vaccination mandate. None of that stuff. And they've got the same number of cases coming back on them as Israel does, who's like 90% vaccinated, all that stuff. So those are statistical things that you can look at. My problem is in my age range, you know, the vaccine can almost do as much harm as the disease can. They're saying, well, you know, if you at least get the vaccine, it'll lessen your problem if you do catch the thing. Well, that's a good thing to consider. And they've got numbers showing that, you know. Problem is you got them telling you too, you have to get this. And it's like, well, when I was younger, I'd get told I have to do something and I'd get mad and stubborn and not do it because of that. And as I got older, I started seeing that was, you don't want to over tighten these because they're screwing into plastic. Sorry, I didn't realize my arm was in the way like that. You don't want to over tighten these because they are screwing into plastic. And the problem that you run into there, God, come on, man, just prop up and do what I want. It's not that difficult. Man, I've completely missed the thing on this, haven't I? I'm sorry, guys. Well, it's a little bit better, huh? Anyway, yeah, they've, you know, I would lock up and just get tube locked, and I'm not doing that because you told me I have to do it. And I've gotten a lot better about that. I guess years pile on a little bit of wisdom. A little bit. My problem with the vaccines is there are, and this is the only political thing to me about them, is the political class are lying about them. So I don't know what to believe on how much damage they can do to a person. There we go. Or any of that, you know. I have no clue what I can believe or should believe, or, you know, some of the statistics we're getting. They're saying there's been no flu deaths in 2021. Now, you don't even have the actual numbers compiled from the CDC for 2020 yet. And but you can go look that stuff up individually, and I have, and it seems like anything that was flu was considered COVID because you know, everybody, well, the flu went away. Well, I don't believe that this is the flu. I know it's worse than that because I've seen it firsthand. But especially like with my buddy who's got it now and he's fighting with it. So there's that. But out of all the things that I, you know, see, how much of it should I believe? Again, I'm not making it political. The people in charge are making it political. They're the ones that are saying, well, you have to get it and you got to do this and we're going to keep you from getting a job if you don't do what we say. And I said I don't let that get me like that as much anymore, but I'm not completely immune to F you, Jack, you know. My problem is at my age group, from everything we're seeing, you can have complications from the vaccine. Now, I also don't have any of the comorbidities going on. You know, I'm not diabetic. I'm a little overweight, but I'm not obese. Well, the medical establishment thinks everybody should be a 90-pound, you know, slave, but So yeah, technically I guess I'm obese, but heck, I'm only probably 40, 50 pounds overweight. That's not enough for me to be scared of this thing. Man, I really wish that would go in there. They really screwed up when they put that in there, didn't they? Made that very difficult. Anyway, to me, in my mind, I don't want the damn vaccine. I'll deal with the thing if it comes along. I'm definitely not getting the vaccine right now because I'm in Kansas. Everybody I know is in California. If I do get that vaccine and it does give me a problem, like, blood clots or, or some people get it and they just straight out get the coof. Talking about incidental stories, guy next door to my in-laws got it and he's got all kinds of health problems now that he never had because that vaccine got to him. They think that's what his doctor's saying. So I don't know, and I'm reading stories about that. Well, you can have this problem or that problem, or well, I'm by myself. And some of you might be in the same shape. I'm by myself. I've got nobody here. If I go down and I need to be driven to the hospital or the doctor or anything, I've got nothing here. I've got no support structure. Now next month, everybody will be here. I'll have everybody here, so we might revisit it. All my reading, the Johnson & Johnson is an actual vaccine, This is not turning anymore, and I cannot get enough grip on that socket because it's smooth. Oh, well, yeah, it's not going to turn anymore. It's tight. Okay. Whew. There we go. That is that thing set. Now I can push this in, right? And I don't know the computer in this car. I believe this is a CAN-bus system, but I don't know. It's not. I don't believe it is. Well, I don't know. It uses an OBD2 reader, so I don't know if that's just something it's translating, but just in case it recognizes that light's out and tries to flash a code, I'm going to go ahead and plug that light back in now. But what I am not going to do, is excuse me. What I'm not going to do is put this cover back on, just in case. So let's leave that hanging there for a minute. Let's go turn the car on. Ooh. Oh, my knees, dude. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's go turn the car on. So, yeah. Get the fan going. I'll tell you, it's only 73, 74 degrees here. Sun's shining. But it rained last night. We had a big thunderstorm blew in. And it is humid. It's usually humid here, which isn't that bad, but after a thunderstorm, it's like really humid. So yeah, it's just, for me right now, at my age, and in my health, it does not make sense. It does not make sense for me to go get the thing. That being said, we might be looking at, you have to get the thing if you want to get a job, and I do need to get a job here next month, so I don't know. If I'm going to get one, I'm going to get the Johnson & Johnson. It's an actual vaccine. It's not this experimental mRNA blah blah bullshit. Something that they made up, came up with, and now they're just all willy-nilly giving approvals to, because the FDA guy in charge of that got a board position, which is basically a very high-paying position. Come on, I don't believe that all combustion is spontaneous combustion, and I don't believe the spirits caused it. But when I see smoke, I think there's got to be something going on, right? So anyway, talking to my new neighbor, I think he's in his late 70s. he's got the thing. I think that's great. If you're in that age group, you definitely need to go get it. Everything we saw in the first 3 to 6 months, the vaccines don't do anything to you. They don't hurt you people, by and large. I mean, to like a whole bunch of zeros after the decimal point percent. And the thing that it's protecting you against actually can do some serious harm to you because of your age, especially if you have other issues. That's my understanding. My buddy says, I'm not going to tell anybody not to get a vaccine anymore, and I'm really hoping that I didn't say anything like that along the way. I meant to not say something like that. If you go look at it, educate yourself, learn everything you can about it, and talk to your doctor. That's been my take the whole time. I'm glad the vaccine things exist. I'm glad we have them. You know, I'm not Ben Shapiro. Thank God we have a miracle of modern medical science. I don't know. We don't know. There's too much we don't know. But you definitely need to do everything you can. And I'm not talking about, hey, the guy next door to somebody I know got sick because he got it. That's the one-off, you know, or maybe out of the 0.000, however many times 2% of the population that has problems, maybe all of those 2% are right there in your neighborhood. I don't know, you know. But you need to get educated on it. You need to know what in the hell you're doing before you make a decision. You need to talk to your doctor because, as was pointed out to me on Facebook, I'm not a virologist. I'm not an epidemiologist, you know. Funny thing is the guy that was telling me how it really works was a psychologist, and it's like, you're not an epidemiologist either, dude. You're not a virologist. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. When you're confusing your immunity with herd immunity and using the terms interchangeably, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. You're probably less educated than I am on it, and that's just a little bit of, you know. I had another argument with a guy on YouTube. Big YouTube channel, and I said, dude, if you're wearing a mask at this point, you're not paying attention. And you go back and watch my videos, I was like, hey, we need to put the masks on. When it first started, because we thought it was a bigger deal than it really is, I was like, hey, we need to put the masks on, do the social, do the thing, you know, flatten the curve, let's do the thing, and I was all for it. The facts changed, so my mind changed, because I'm not a bigot. I'm not stuck in my thinking. If new information comes out, then I got to change my position on it. If new facts are available and we learn more, then I got to change my position on it. It's got my position is not based on my pride. My position is based on what I'm learning as we're going. So, yeah, this guy's like, he's like, I make my employees wear a mask. I wear a mask. You've got to wear a mask. I'm like, dude, if you're wearing a mask, you're not paying attention, because at this point we've learned, and even Fauci was saying, you know, the mask doesn't help. And he's like, I can read, and he dropped like 20 links. Okay, they were all medical papers. Okay, I went and read them. All of them. Basically said day-to-day use at one point or another. Almost all of them said, you know, a face mask of that nature is not the ones that we're wearing, the little paper ones, the nurse masks. Day-to-day, it's not going to. You're better off just staying away from people, and those don't really do that much. And one of the papers came outright and said, they're not only are they not helping with this, they're detrimental to the person wearing them, because you're catching a lot of your breath back, and you're depriving yourself of oxygen, which makes you more susceptible to the thing. And that's a link he shared, you know. And I said, you know, my favorite part of all that, I said, I just read all of them, because it was like the next day I came back. I said, I just read them. I said, my favorite part is this, and I put the quote, you're wearing a mask, it's stupid, basically. And it doesn't say that because it's a medical paper, but it explains why wearing a mask is not good. And he shared that link, telling me, oh, I could read. Well, apparently you didn't. So I'm not telling you I'm so friggin' smart. I'm not telling you to listen to me. I'm telling you need to learn what you can for yourself. Talk to your doctor. That's you make that decision for yourself. I might be getting that vaccine next month. If I do, it'll probably be the Johnson & Johnson, because everything I'm reading now supports everything I read 3 months ago. That's the only one that I would be willing to take. The other ones, there's some whole different technology, and they aren't proven at all. I think it's sad that we can't talk about this. That's another thing. We can't have this conversation, and my video probably get bumped off of YouTube because I talked about it. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? All right, let's do this. And this, and I've got my foot on the brake, and boop. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So what was happening is it was blowing about that hard while being set on that hard. And now it's just running. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I don't think you need to see me put that panel back, do you? Do you? I'm gonna put that panel back, I'm gonna put the tools up, and let's go for a drive around the block. Tell you what, that took me 2 or 3 minutes. This thing's been blowing steady the whole time. I'm gonna set it on a medium setting. Oh, got my wallet, got my phone. That's how you're watching this. Let's go for a ride. Let's want to go for a ride. Good singing, John. Good singing. Promised. I know. Sorry about that. Let's take this number. I should have fixed the garage door opener on the house at Suzanne Street forever and a day ago, because that is the nicest thing in the world, is being able to just flip a switch and have that thing go down on its own. Don't have to get out of the car. Don't have to go back to the thing. Isn't that beeping just not the most annoying thing? Now, I'll tell you what else I did. Oh, hey, the mail. So it comes right around noonish. Probably between 11 and 1. That's another little bit of knowledge I've got. So, what I did is I took the original fan motor, because it hasn't completely failed yet, and if this one does, that one would maybe get me out of a pinch while I'm waiting for the part. It's been difficult to get stuff. I'm going to turn that down again. Oh man, it is nice having that blow at full capacity. This right here, 3 bars, is as hard as I've got it to blow for a while. Once in a while it'll kick in and it'll really blow hard for like 10 seconds, and then it'll kick back down. It's probably really noisy for you guys. Yeah, let's go for a little drive. Not too far, because I didn't lock the back door. Anyway, yeah, I hope I have not said at any point, you shouldn't do this or you should do that, where it comes to that. That is not really my take, and if I said it, it was just I was being angry, and I hope I didn't do that. If I did do that, I apologize, and I take it back. That is not cool. I'm pretty sure I've said this the whole time. If you have something like you are you are royally overweight, you probably should go get the vaccine. If you are very overweight, you should go get the vaccine. If you are diabetic, you should probably go get the vaccine. If you have any of the things, propensity for pneumonia, if you've suffered radical heat stroke, like really bad heat stroke, you're probably more susceptible to pneumonia, and thus you're probably more susceptible to this. This is all stuff I'm reading, you know. And where did I find all this stuff? Well, where do we find anything? Nobody goes to the library anymore. You just read that on the internet. Yeah, you read everything on the internet. You got the information you've got off the internet. Come on, man. Well, I know better. Because it's you. You a virologist? No. You read it on the internet too. And I question a lot of your sources. I question my sources. I question all of the sources. When I see outlier data being proposed on mainstream media, I gotta question mainstream media. What in the heck are they trying to tell us? Anyway, all that aside, said and done, quit griping on it, John. If you've got to get the thing, get the thing. It's probably not. My problem is they're just not properly tested, and I don't feel that I need to go get vaccinated. I think it's as much of a risk to me to get it at my age and my condition as it is to not get it. I could be wrong, but that's my decision. That's not your decision. And if we're going to start injecting each other with shit that we don't want, I got plenty of ammo. Let's just start injecting from a distance. That's how that's going to go, guys. I said that the other day on Facebook. People are about to throw down over this, and I'm dead serious about that. That's going to be bad. We don't need that. We don't need violence. We don't need a fight on our hands, especially with each other. The way a vaccine works is if you are vaccinated and you have a measurable immunity to the thing, it doesn't matter what I do for you. For you, it doesn't matter what I do. If I don't go get the vaccine, it's not going to matter to you. You've got it. It's not a problem. So rock on in the free world. Do your thing. Take your mask off or don't, or whatever you want to do. Hide in your house. The only person I'm hurting, and people totally don't get this. People totally don't get this. Herd immunity is, if enough people have immunity, then the thing doesn't have a toehold in the population, and therefore it's not a thing anymore, really. It can still get one or two people, but it can't get a firm toehold and start running rampant. That's what herd immunity is all about. When you're talking about herd immunity and you're mad that I'm not getting immunized, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not a threat to you. It's not a threat to the general public. They're saying 1 million people surveyed. They took samples and everything, a little over 1 million. They said 80% of the people are showing an immunity to it now, out of that million. Well, what do we have, 300 million people? That's a small sample, but that's a huge test. If 80% of people randomly selected are showing immunity, you're right at herd immunity anyways, especially for something that your sources have already said is endemic. So, learn to read everything. Don't just read the stuff that agrees with your thing. Don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't try to force me to do something, because if I do get stubborn and we're going to start holding people down and shit, oh man, I am going to get really, really mean. Here we are back on Meridian. So that part in the video that I watched the video on the Gen 2 Prius. I watched another video on the Gen 2 Prius. They were saying those parts were like $60 for that fan and motor. I figured it'd be 80 or 100 for this one. I watched one video on the Gen 3 Prius, which is what this is. That motor and controller are for 2010 to 2015. This is a 2014. So I'm so happy with this. So that's the part for that year spread. This car fits in that. I figured it'd be about $100. It wasn't. It was $180. The little mirror I showed you installing, I bought that too because I have one of those, but it's at home in my tools. So, well, never hurts to have another one, right? So I bought that one too. So it was $201 and change after tax. The dealer is going to charge you at least an hour, probably an hour and a half to do that job, and we just did it. I mean, you're there with me. You saw how long it took. You know, they're going to charge you at least an hour, probably more like an hour and a half. So there's another $120 to $160. You know, if you take it to the dealership, you take it to an auto mechanic that you know and trust. I don't know anybody here. You know, I know my real estate agent. I trust that guy. I know my insurance agent. I trust her. I've dealt with them, and they've been good. Yeah. I don't know an auto mechanic that I can trust. I probably could call either one of them and go, hey, who do you have? But, you know, after watching the video, you saw how easy that was. Come on now. So anyway, hopefully I get approved to do the Uber thing. I don't know what their thing is on the vaccine. If they're saying, well, you have to have it, well, I'm not probably going to be doing Uber. And that's another thing, and it depends on your situation. My situation is I'm here by myself. I'm 4 states away from anybody and everybody that I know. If I go get it and I get a blood clot and I end up in the hospital, the person that can make medical decisions for me, my wife, is in California, you know, holding the family down there. So I would be a damn fool to go get a vaccination right now of questionable efficacy, one, of questionable ability, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know that the thing's going to hurt me or not. It is hurting people. People are getting hurt from it. I know this firsthand, and I'm looking at the statistics. Is it a slim statistic? Yeah. You know, if I was 40, I wouldn't even be considering going to get it. I'm pushing closer to 50 now, so I'm considering going and getting it. It's a balancing act. It's the point of the spirit right here where I'm at on this. If you're 20, there's no way you should be getting a vaccine. There's no way. The thing is more harmful to you than it's going to solve, than problems it will solve. So anyway, that's my thing on that. My thing on this, not knowing anybody, and again, I'm here by myself. I don't know anybody. I don't know if I can take that to somebody. If whatever, because most mechanics would charge you an hour anyway. So if their labor rate's 80, or like the dealer, it's 120, whatever it is. I just do it myself here. That little toolkit has been great. It has been great. That little toolkit has been great. I've gotten along with that thing so well. And it's just a little basic homeowner's toolkit. But it's perfect for everything that I've been doing so far. I've had to add stuff here and there. I gotta go get a saw. I got a saw, but I need to get the proper one. This is phenomenal. I'm happy. Like I say, it's not hot today, but it's humid. It says 81 on the dash, so the car says it's 81. But having that fan, and now it can actually cool the back down, that's just great. Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. That's a project done and dusted. Everything's good on this. I am going to go back in the house and start working on the living room again. I got some tack strip left to pull out. I got to figure out how to get that wall out. I think I know how I'm going to do it. If I think to, I will show you a video or a picture of that. Oh, I forgot. Look at that. Isn't that just great? Yeah, I'll show you some of that here in the next video maybe. I've got all of the recording I need for the lawn care video. I bought all electric lawn care and I love it. I love it. It's great. As out of control tall as the lawn was, the 3 batteries got the job done. Just. Oh, pardon, sorry. That is 100 times better. I've got no warning lights coming on. I've got nothing weird happening. It is behaving as it should. Very cool, and we saved probably 100, 120 bucks. I was really hoping that fan would be cheaper. Anyway, there you go. It's been a good little car. I really like this thing. It's got, what is it got? Trip. It has 75,151 miles on it. Very cool. Very cool little car. I've gotten along with it very well when I've driven it. Mama gets along with it. I know she loves it. And I kind of miss my Pathfinder, but I'm worried about pulling it into that gate. You see how tight that is? Anyway, I'm going to edit out most of that virology ranting. I'm going to leave all the political stuff, and I don't know, take it for what it's worth. My 2 cents. Adjust it for inflation, and there you go. You got full value right there in that video. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe. Take care out there.